You know what would be really funny? Can you can you imagine? Okay, you know how like Marvel and and just a bunch of media properties have like carved up and narrativized the the old polytheistic mythologies, you know? Like we have a Marvel Asgard, and it's like, wow, dude, it's like a big city that's in space and there are people there and they have a rainbow. It's like, you know what, it's like whatever, okay. Like basically bleeding all the real mythology out of it and just turning it into like, yeah, you guys know what I mean. Um and that's happened in a bunch of directions. And I have to say, like, can you imagine if the apostles of Christ had the like imagination and I guess narrative biases of modern Marvel writers? Um with like the Christian canon, like the old like the old and the New Testament back or whatever. Like I just want to imagine like what it would look like. Like what if you Marvelify it? It's like yassifying in mythology, you know. You Marvelify the maybe the Bible wouldn't be so boring then. Yeah, I don't know. I want to see this. They should just make Jesus Christ like a Marvel character, you know, like as one of the Avengers or whatever, one of the new Avengers, and then they do like after they set them up. Okay, what you can imagine is that there's the next Avengers movie and then there's like a villain they can't defeat. I don't know, it's like Galactus or some shit, okay? And then like Jesus Christ comes in at the end. No. At the end of the movie, they can't defeat Galactus, all right? And then Galactus just fucking dies. And people were like, "Oh, okay," and the credits roll. And then in the post-credit scene, the third post-credit scene, sorry, there are three of them, but in the third one, you know, Nick Fury being played by an incredibly tired and uninterested Samuel L. Jackson. You know what? Fuck it. It's 3D. Samuel didn't even show up. They literally just CG'd the guy in. He's just sitting there in a chair. The room is dark anyway. Nobody can tell the difference, you know. They got him to do some voice lines over the phone, whatever. Hey, Shu. Um, and then, you know, he's like, "Thank you so much for defeating Galactus," and then the camera pans and it's Jesus Christ, you know, and the theater loses its mind. And then the next movie is like the backstory of Jesus, and they do to Jesus Christ what they did to Thor, where they take some of the basic ideas and then they just yassify the entire thing. You know what I mean? So like when Jesus goes to the temple and sees the merchants peddling wares, and gambling and stuff, you know, when he flips the tables and everything like that. Like it's this big like mid-story arc climax where they play like girl boss music while he's like walking around. Oh, maybe they could maybe they could play some really dated hit like Move Bitch Get Out the Way or something as he's like flipping the tables walking up to like the front of the temple. I feel like we've got really good I feel like we've got good energy here, you know? And it can be full of references. I want it to be as full of references to that time, to Judea, you know, to like that time period, as like the Disney Hercules movie. You know what I mean? With all the anachronisms too. Like, they should have like a Judea McDonald's, basically. Like, you know, like just like an XP, basically. And they can all, South Park did it. Well, South Park's done just about everything edgy, so we can, that's, you know, that's fine. And they roll out with it, and it'd be pretty good, I think. Oh, and they should retcon some stuff too, okay? Like Jesus never actually died at the cross, because he actually had a sultry love interest with big tits, and a progressive female haircut, like an undercut with a side swoop, in Judea 2,000 years ago. um, and you know, and actually, like, they did some body double shit. Yeah, dyed hair, you know, like in a septum ring. And they did some body double, like, you know, he gets stabbed in the ribs by the Roman, he gets crucified, but then he gets helped down, and they put another guy up there who looks like him, and it's like the buddy that Jesus made before, who was like a homeless guy, and the homeless guy's like, "I'll take this one for you, Christ," and Jesus is like, "That you're right, you should die instead of me." They fist bump, and he goes up there, and they like redo the injuries on him, and he's like a bearded dude with like long hair, so whatever. Um, And then they spend 3 days like with sultry lovemaking, and that's like 20 minutes of the movie, and it's all PG-13 cut, so there's not even any like hardcore sex or whatever, but it's also incredibly gratuitous and extremely blasphemous. And then after 3 days, he, you know, he emerges from the cave or whatever, fucking biblical theology. And then you know, he has this chat with God, because the whole dying for your sins thing, like he has to have the talk with God. And God looks exactly like Odin from Marvel. In fact, it's literally the same actor. It's literally just the same actor. And they've just swapped out his like clothing. just say Anthony Hopkins. Just don't say it's Odin. Just make it the same guy and have a little wink, you know what I mean? Because, like, the Norse weren't around back 2,000 years ago, you know, the Norse mythology, I don't think. So, at least not in its, like, you know, incarnation that we know it as. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, Chris Pratt as Jesus? 100%. I feel like we've got really quality stuff here. Oh, the love interest should be, Magdalene, right? The whore whose feet he washed. That was the she was the one whose feet he washed, right? Or was that a different one? Jesus had 2 kids with her. Okay, we should also make it somehow less progressive. Okay, so instead of Magdalene being a prostitute, just being like what she does, instead it should be that she's a good girl, not like the other whores who sleep with people for money, okay? Who's being coerced into it by, like, a Jewish pimp back then, okay? And Jesus helps her get out of the trade, and it's, like, her getting better as a person because now she's, like, not a whore, you know? And that's when the lovemaking happens. I think this would be a bop, honestly. I feel like this would be, so like Pretty Woman? Sure. Oh! Sorry, I almost forgot. Everyone should be white. Everyone should be white, except when the Roman soldiers come, some of them should be people of color. And that'll be the diversity. There we go. They can have the Roman soldier who stabs him with the spear, you know? That can be like the black Roman soldier, like a Moor or whatever, like proto Moor. The Moors weren't even around back then, but you know, yeah, like the diverse Roman soldiers. But all the Jews. And, and by the way, they should not be referred to as Jews. In fact, I think it should be subtly. Oh, the Moors were around. Oh, cool. Then yeah. In fact, I think it should be subtly implied that the Jews are Christian. Without being explicitly stated, and you could have like all these fun anachronisms where you know, people will say like, oh, Christ, and then Jesus will be like, you mean me? And then they'll be like, no, just like, you know, I'm just surprised. And then it's like, there could be like a badum tish, you know, because it's like they don't say that yet. Womp womp. Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be the Jews all wear crosses. No, okay, I'm sorry. Wait, one last one, okay? One last one. And when Jesus, when after the 3 days, when Jesus emerges from the cave, okay? All of his kin, okay? They all do like the fucking Hunger Games thing, okay? Where they do like a cross with their hands up, like all up in the air, you know? And it's just like a big crowd of them. When they see Jesus's return, they all like and it's very important. It's very important that the structure of the end of the movie has to imply that the follow-up will be Jesus Christ leading a rebellion against the Roman occupation. Okay, like like the Hunger Games. Like, it has to imply, like, now he's back and he's gonna get revenge against the Romans. At the follow-throughs on that would legitimately be, and I'm not kidding here, the sickest cape shit in all of human history, because it would be like Jesus as a general leading Judea against the Roman occupation, and he would have like god powers, you know, like he would be like standing atop a mountain and like swooping his hand, and like a lightning crash would just like cut through an entire like phalanx of Roman soldiers or whatever, or like meteors and shit, you know. It would be like the Prince of Egypt if Moses was incredibly spiteful and and God did everything he asked. It would be phenomenal. Is there a supervillain? I don't know. Who was the Roman emperor at the time? Okay, give him an eye patch, and then make him make a deal with Satan. Yes, obviously, clearly, obviously. Tiberius. It'd be Tiberius. Judas. No. Judas has to be the guy. Judas has to be the guy who replaces Jesus on the cross. It'll be like Captain America Civil War, not a homeless guy or whatever. It has to be Judas. Like the redemption arc where like Judas feels bad, you know, and then like they like switch places and Judas dies on the cross and Jesus lives. That's perfect. Yes. That's perfect. And yeah, Tiberius, Emperor Tiberius can be the big villain, and he can do a deal with Satan. Obviously, right? Like obviously, like if Jesus is wielding the power of God to beat back the Roman armies, then there has to be a scene of like, you know, him like in the dimly lit, like sultry, like Roman imperial fortress, like drinking wine out of some goblet made of platinum and rubies or whatever. And you know, then okay, so here's the question. Do you want to go like full supernatural and Satan is just like a tall white blonde guy with slicked back hair, or do you want to go like full on preacher and he's an 18-foot tall red devil with horns and a pitchfork? I mean, which like element of terrible like trope do we want to both he transforms? That would be fucking funny, okay? It could be like a comedy beat where he has an anger problem, and when he gets angry, he goes back to like the horned devil form, but he shows up in a suit, like he's like this blonde dude. He looks like completely anachronistic, right? He looks like a 1980s businessman, and he's trying to wheel and deal Tiberius, and when Tiberius is, you know, acting like a Roman emperor, it says like, hey, guards, take him away, he's being like annoying or whatever. He goes Hulk mode, and he just acts like the Hulk. And then when he switches back to his human Lucifer form, he's like, sorry about that. I have some anger issues. And then Tiberius could look at the camera and he could go, you have anger issues, I have an army. And it could be like a reference to, it's like the opposite of the first Avengers movie. Anyway, he does a deal with Satan, and he can shoot fireballs now out of his hands. And then, of course, he fights Jesus. Lil Nas Satan? No. That would be a good decision, though. That would be good. That would be a good thing. That would be a good idea. We can't do that. Yeah. Why do we get on this? Oh, right, Jordan. The whole time I've been talking about this, I've had Jordan Peterson's judgmental face staring at me from my main monitor. You know, like he's just horrified at the concept.